Remote employees, they're a different breed of workers. They've got different needs. And guess what? If you don't take care of them, they quit. Remote workers can be workers that are either working from home or workers that are working in an office. When I say remote workers, I'm talking about workers that are overseas or nearshore, offshore, workers that are in a different office location from the main headquarters of the company. And that's this distance that they have from the main headquarters that can cause additional stress or hurdles that the business needs to tackle. Otherwise, those employees are going to quit. In this episode, we're going to talk about the 5 main reasons that employees quit and what you can do about it. One of the most common reasons why remote employees quit is a lack of communication and connection with the home office. So, especially if they're working from home, there's going to be some isolation there. And if they're additionally overseas, even in a nearshore situation or an offshore situation, there's going to be that distance there. And so the headquarters really needs to make a concerted effort to tackle that by increasing the communication with the employees. In addition to remote employees that are working from home, remote employees that are working in an office also can suffer from these communication issues and lack of connection to the company. If the headquarters is having corporate events that they're not invited to, they can feel a distance from that. If they've got issues that are not being resolved in a timely manner, that can cause a problem as well. If they've got questions about how to do the work and they're not getting timely response on how to do that stuff and feeling like they're struggling, that's going to cause stress with the employees. All of these things kind of create an isolation for your employees, whether or not they're working from home or even if they're in a remote office in an offshore situation. These things are going to lead to a decreased employee morale and their productivity is going to go down and really is going to affect the employees that you have working in your remote office. And then depending on where these employees are located, if they're in a country where English is not a common language or the main language, there might be a language barrier that can add to the stress of the job that they're doing and can lead to them quitting their job or their employment with your company. So what we do at Tache to try and tackle these hurdles is Tache provides corporate events, summer parties, Christmas parties for the employees that are working in our remote office so that they can have that camaraderie and create a bond with their fellow employees. We're really communicating with the clients as well as with the employees about the communication problem and suggesting that they be involved in morning huddles and having a company email and really making sure that any issues that come up are addressed as quickly as possible to really try and battle a feeling of isolation that can happen when you're working between a headquarters on one side of the world and a remote office on the other side of the world, and really trying to attack that employee morale and make sure that your productivity remains high. So if you're able to do that and you're able to create a cohesive culture across your company from your various offices, I really think that this is a challenge that can be tackled and is successfully navigated by many of our clients and shown by the success of their teams that we have here at Tache, and I think is really important for any company that wants to have a remote office, whether or not they're working with Tache or doing it with some other provider. In addition to those big solutions, there's some kind of blocking and tackling that you want to do as well. You want to make sure that you're availing of some remote communication tools that are really created for this type of use case. So utilizing Slack or Zoom or even Google Meet, and I suggest paying for the premium version so you get all the bells and whistles of those communication tools and really giving your team every advantage that they can have to make sure that the communication can be as smooth as possible. Additionally, there might be a feeling that, hey, it'd be better if we have the remote team working their day shift, which would be overnight US hours, and that's going to be better for their work-life balance and all that stuff. And it's true, but it does add some extra complication and hurdle with the communication. So I always say for clients that are starting a team, especially if it's the first time, that they align the work shift with the US hours. So if they're in the Philippines, they're working the Philippines night shift aligned with the US day shift. That's going to really increase the ability to communicate between the teams. They can have some real-time conversations about problems that they're having, that they can address concerns right away. That's really going to make things a lot easier. So kind of avoid a feeling that you got to do a Philippines day shift misaligned with your US day shift and trying to do summary emails at the end of the day and stuff like that. It just really adds a complication that's difficult to tackle, and it's going to create stress between you and your employee, and oftentimes those employees are going to quit. Okay, so you've set up your company with the great communication. You're using an offshore team like Tache to help with the corporate events. You're got great company morale, but why are they still quitting? The number 2 reason why remote employees quit is because there's a lack of career development opportunities within your company. Remote employees are just like any other employees. They're human beings. They're looking for career advancements. They're looking for opportunities to grow. They want to feel like their career is moving forward, that they have an opportunity to take on more responsibilities, become a leader, maybe get a raise every once in a while. These are things that are really important to your remote employees. So even if you're doing great things for them in their current position, they're going to be looking to see, is there an opportunity for me to grow within this company? And if there's not, they're probably going to try and find a better opportunity elsewhere. So we suggest that you have regular performance evaluations. A couple early on, 3 months, 6 months, and then at least annually after that. And those performance evaluations, really, they're going to be looking at that as an opportunity to say, okay, what's my path forward within this company? And then we like a performance incentive. So if you have an employee that's working great, that's hitting all of their goals, giving them a bonus every once in a while, maybe having metrics if you complete a certain number of tasks, if you hit all your KPIs, you get a bonus associated with that. Employees, they're human beings, whether or not they're overseas or they're local. They like the opportunity to make a little bit extra money, and that opportunity is going to be huge for your employees. And really, as I mentioned before, the career ladder, being able to see that they're going to go from either an intern or a junior level employee to a mid-level employee, and have people underneath them eventually grow to a team leader, and maybe down the road, 5 years down the road, taking on an office leadership role. Those are the types of career growth that your employee is really going to be interested in seeing for them, even if it's a multi-year process. Seeing that where they're going on that career ladder is really important for them. And what I suggest is providing learning resources that they can utilize to improve their skills. And so not only are they going to be getting better at the job that you're asking them to do, you're showing them that you're investing in them, that you're giving them the tools that they need to make themselves better, and you're obviously not investing in them if you don't think that you've got long-term plans for them. So it's kind of proof is in the pudding kind of thing, where you really show your employees that you believe in them and that you want them here for the long term and you want to make them better, and you're going to invest in them with some sort of learning resources, online courses, some sort of remote-friendly tools that they can utilize to get better. Or we've even had some of our clients send their employees to conferences, send them to workshop trainings, send them to other in-person physical learning opportunities, which is even better if you're willing or able to do that. So these are all ways that you can show your employee that you're committed to them and that they're going to grow with your team and keep them on for the long term. The next most common reason that we see remote employees quit is a poor work-life balance. Remote workers, especially those that work from home, end up blurring the line between their work and personal life, and especially those employees that are not in a office do not have that support for their everyday issues. If they've got an HR issue, a timekeeping issue, even an accounting issue, those problems or challenges are going to be harder to address if they're working from home. Additionally, a lot of work from home employees, they don't have a formal time management mechanism. They don't have a clock in, clock out type of scenario. And so it really blurs that line between their work and what they're doing in their personal life. So they might be trying to do the laundry while they're doing a Zoom meeting, or trying to take care of their kids while they're working on your project. And that imbalance in their personal life and their work life really can cause stress for an employee. And additionally, employees that are working from home may not have any employee engagement activities that they can partake in. So they never have these good times associated with work. It's always just work. They're always going to be working on their projects, and they never have time to kind of let loose, to meet their fellow employees, to have good times, to create that good rapport, that empathy that really adds to a positive work life for employees, and has always been the case going back in history. What can you do to improve the work-life balance of your employees? So obviously, in talking about the problems, a lot of this can be solved by having your employees work in the office and utilizing an organization like Tache to take care of a lot of the everyday issues that might come up, the HR issues, the IT issues, facilities, all that stuff. All that stuff can be easily taken care of if you've got a good partner with your remote team that's handling that stuff for you. But additionally, you're going to want to have a set shift for your employee, whether or not they're working in the office or if they're working from home. You want to make sure that there's a clear understanding of what that shift schedule is going to be. You're going to want to have clear expectations and boundaries around that shift schedule. So for my team, I might be sending emails, in the middle of the night, at all times. I'm working all the time, right? But I've really tried to set a culture for my employees that they don't need to respond outside of their work hours. All of my leadership team especially, they've got phones with their email on there and their Slack on there, and they're getting the messages. And if they're free or have whatever, they might respond. But I've really tried to create a culture where that I'm not expecting a response until the next day. And I think having clear boundaries around that and an understanding within your employees is really going to reduce that stress around, do I need to respond to this right away? Is there an opportunity for me to step back and spend time with my family? And so that, I think that's really important. And then having regular employee engagement activities. So at Tache, we've got the big ones, the Christmas party and the summer parties and stuff like that. But we also have smaller activities, monthly activities that can be as simple as little arts and crafts stuffs or fun stuff, karaoke in the Philippines, or even just Friday night Jollibee. All those things are opportunities to get the team together. And for your remote employees, you can do virtual activities. Nowadays, you can do virtual magicians and escape rooms I've even seen. So there's really are opportunities to have these engagement activities for your employees that are going to make work more than just the hardcore doing the work, but create opportunities for it to be a more fun experience. And so I think lastly, if you're paying them a proper salary, it's going to really make that work-life balance feel a lot better. So, there's a reason these finance guys work 80, 90 hours a week on Wall Street is because they make a lot of money. And so if you're paying them properly for the work that you're doing, and that obviously that's for the country that they're living in, where they can have a decent wage and good housing and food and support the people that they want to support in their lives. If you're doing that, they're going to be much more eager to work for you and really feel like that work-life balance is working in their favor. So I really think these are the type of strategies that you want to have to encourage your employees to really feel like the work-life balance is working for them in their lives and that they want to continue to work for you and your company. Even after all of that, some employees still quit. And the reason being is they're not getting the support and recognition that they feel they need in their professional lives. Remote workers that work from home have even greater challenges. Businesses have been found to fire fully remote employees 35% more often than on-site or hybrid employees. They've got an even tougher time making their jobs work for them. Remote workers can feel neglected, especially without local support for their HR or IT or facilities issues that they might have coming up. They might feel like they don't have the tools to work at an optimum level on their projects. And everyday wins are not recognized by their employers, which might lead to a lack of connection with the company. They really want to hear hey, good job, you did a great job on that task. They want to feel that simple feedback on how well they're doing on a project, or even, hey, you did great, but let's try and improve that stuff. That can help them feel connected with their employer. Additionally, it's really important that feedback comes pretty regularly. Whether it's at a weekly meeting, or even at a monthly review, or 6-month review, or even at that annual employee review that you're going to have. But don't wait for that annual meeting to be giving the feedback that your employee needs. Giving that feedback regularly and consistently is going to really make them feel connected to their employer. Lastly, technology and infrastructure challenges can be a hurdle that's just too high for some of your employees that's going to lead them to quit. One thing that I've noticed is that, especially in a work from home situation, remote employees, if they don't have the infrastructure in place or the technology that they need to do their work, a lot of times they're going to be a little bit, let's say, cautious or shy to mention that to their employer, and they might just end up quitting. If they don't have the internet speeds that they need, if they don't have the computer setup that they need, if they don't even have the office space that they need, and it affects their work, instead of expressing that to their employer, they're just going to quit. So it's really important that when you're bringing on a remote employee, especially if you're going to have them work from home, you understand what their work from home setup is, what their infrastructure is, and you can address that up front and give them the tools that they need so that they can do their work. At Tache, what we do is a technology audit. So when we're screening employees for a work from home situation, we're going to ask for screenshots of their internet speed. We're going to ask for photos of their work from home setup. We're going to ask what their computer specs are, and what their microphones that they might have, headsets that they might have, and just really make sure that they have the tools that they need to do the work for our clients. And this avoids the conflict down the road of them just not having the equipment that they need. Ideally, you're going to have them working in an office, and then they're going to have all of the support from not only an HR standpoint, but an IT standpoint and facility standpoint. They're going to have high-speed internet, and they're going to have generator backup so that you don't have to worry about power outages, and even just the security of knowing that there's a security guard at the door, and that they can work in a comfortable, safe, and secure location. That type of support for your employees is going to really allow them to focus on the work and not on the challenges that they might be having on a technology or infrastructure standpoint, and lead them to be long-term employees for your company. All right, business owners, what are you doing to make sure that your employees don't quit? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you, and maybe we can have a conversation there. And if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with any other business owners that you know that might be trying to make sure that they're holding on to their rock star employees and make sure that they don't quit. So until next time, this is the Philippines Business Playbook Podcast.